fucking Christ. The main event of UFC 230, November 3rd at Madison Square Garden, is Valentina Shevchenko versus Sijara Eubanks. That's right, for the vacant UFC women's flyweight title. Okay, so this morning I was at work and I checked my phone, checked Twitter, and I saw that was first reported, I believe, by Brett Okamoto of ESPN, that the main event of UFC 230, Madison Square Garden, November 3rd, I repeat, is Valentina Shevchenko versus Sijara Eubanks, I don't fucking know, I don't fucking care, for the UFC women's flyweight title. And there's so many levels of disappointment with that announcement. I don't even know where to begin. It's holy shit. Holy shit. Okay, I don't even know where to start here. Look, let's be real. UFC 230 didn't have a main event. They've been searching for a main event, and for the last week, Dustin Poirier, Nate Diaz have been on Twitter talking about they want to start the 165-pound division, give them a belt, give them the shot, throw them the ball, UFC, give them their chance to main event the card for a new division that is needed at some point in the future anyway in the UFC. Give them their shot for the title. Give them their shot to main event. Give them their shot to show you their drawing power on pay-per-view. But if there's anything the UFC doesn't like, it's to be leveraged. And if there's anything they don't like more than being leveraged, it's being leveraged by a Diaz brother. So I was pretty sure that Dustin Poirier versus Nate Diaz for the 165-pound title was never going to happen. But in my mind, I'm like, but there's going to be something else. And whatever it is, it's not going to live up to the excitement that had been building for this 165-pound title fight between Nate and Dustin. But I'm sure they'll come up with something that's good. I don't know, somehow they'll throw John Jones in there. Somehow they'll throw a Gustafsson Yoel, I don't know. Somehow they'll throw some fight together that at least I would want to see, even though it wouldn't get me as excited as Nate Diaz, Dustin Poirier for the 165-pound title. But somehow they've come up with a main event that not only ruins the whole concept of Nate Dustin as the main event 5-round fight, Nate Dustin for a title, ruins even the thought of an interim light heavyweight title fight between Jones and Gustafsson, Yoel, someone, whoever, even an interim belt. They ruined that by throwing in the worst possible fight that also took away the co-main event of UFC 231 with Valentina Shevchenko versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk for the UFC flyweight title. It took that away as well. So you had two amazing fights, potential huge fights on your hands that were intriguing to the market, to hardcore fans. First of all, Nate Dustin, 5 rounds for a title. Second of all, Valentina Shevchenko versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk, the number one contender in the strawweight division, number one contender in the flyweight division, fighting for the vacant flyweight title. They've met in Muay Thai before. There's a story there. There's history there. There's two people that fans know who they are. They're stars, at least to the hardcore fans. It gives attention to that division. Let's get it going. Let's get it moving. It's back on track. You've got Nate Dustin in a division that's between lightweight and welterweight, the two most stacked divisions, most competitive divisions in the UFC. And you could make a middle division where all these people that have weight cut issues can move to. There's plenty of fighters there that can do it. Move 170 to 175. Tyron's still the champ. Khabib, Conor, whoever's still the champ, 155. Have a 165-pound title fight between Nate and Dustin. Two guys who the fans love. Dustin is on a tear. They've both fought Conor. You've got Nate, who's a superstar in the sport. when you put them as the headliners, you put them on the poster and you say, new for the title, two guys people know, people are going to watch. Not only have you destroyed that, even if it was the main event, I think this fight should be the main event over any title fight, including especially this women's flyweight title between Valentina and a tomato can, with all due respect. But if anyone thinks, including Eubanks, the Valentina isn't going to walk the fuck through her, you're insane. You're insane. Valentina is going to ruin this girl. Who knows how long this fight is going to go, but it's not going to go long and it's not going to be close. And you're going to bury a Dustin Nate fight and all these other fights under it. You've got these amazing middleweight fights. Amazing middleweight fights on this card. Let's have a look at UFC 230. That card is stacked. Derek Brunson, Israel Adesanya. Jacare, David Branch. Luke Rockhold, Chris Weidman. And Dustin Poirier, Nate Diaz. What amazing, unbelievable fights. Those, look, in my opinion, the main event of any card is the tone of every card. It doesn't matter what other fights are on the card. If the main event isn't exciting, if the main event isn't marketable, if the main event isn't intriguing, the rest of the card, no matter how good, will suffer. So you got these amazing fights. All you needed was a good, the level of the rest of the card main event. It didn't have to be this McGregor, Khabib fight. It didn't have to be that big. You could have had Max Ortega, though I know those two couldn't fight by then. Ortega probably could. I don't think Max would be ready by then. But it didn't have to be this mega huge fight. It just had to be a good to decent title fight, or to make Nate Dustin 5 rounds. Even if it was lightweight, I wouldn't give a fuck. Just 5 rounds. Because that at least is a main event people want to see. They know it's 5 rounds. You've got two, especially Nate, a superstar in the sport. Marketable. You're giving a fight with a fighter the UFC commentator Joe Rogan doesn't even know versus Valentina. And that fight not only ruins an awesome fight that was already signed and happening between Joanna and Valentina, you're also taking the 230 card and putting this shit main event on top of it, which makes the rest of the card look like pure shit. It is going to do worse now. If you had no title, it was like a fight night where it was 2 guys fighting 5 rounds as contenders, Nate and Dustin 155. That would have sold more pay-per-views, I guarantee you, than this. And even though the fight's still on there, probably, Nate and Dustin, that fight's still on the card, 3 rounds, lightweight, it's still going to do worse because this main event is going to bring the whole thing down. Because people are going to look at that poster, see Valentina and some chick they've never seen before. And some of them probably don't even know who Valentina is. This is so ridiculous. I understand not wanting to be leveraged, kind of. Even if it's a great idea, it's dumb. I understand not wanting to be leveraged by Nate Diaz, because disastrous negotiating powers that guy has. Or not even negotiating powers, disastrous negotiation skills in terms of the UFC's perspective in the Diaz brothers. They have great negotiation skills if you're Nate Diaz, but I get that in a level. I get even not wanting to make a new division just because you can't find a main event. I understand that. It's not easy. But at some point in this division, I feel is going to happen. And it's not the best way for it to happen, but it's a way for it to happen. It's a legitimate way for it to happen, for the fans to be excited. The people want it. It's obvious that people wanted it. Dana White's calling it nutty because he's an out-of-touch baboon in 2018, it seems. At least the last 2 years. He's just been, at least the last 2 years, if not longer, just been insanely out of touch. And now I've got this main event that's ruining a great card. I don't care what anybody says. This main event is making the rest of the card look worse. The card is going to do worse. And you've pissed off the fans who wanted Nate Dustin for a title, or even Nate Dustin 5 rounds. Give them the spotlight. At the very least, give them the spotlight that they deserve, because their fight is what an incredible fight it's going to be. And you're not even going to give them the main event spot 5 rounds lightweight, let alone 165 title. You can't even give them the spot, even if you don't want to make a new division. You have to have this title that doesn't even matter because the belts don't even matter, especially a division that's had one champion who's like 4-3 or whatever that you stripped because you couldn't make weight. And now you're making Valentina fight, again, all due respect, Tomato Can in the main event. It's so insane. It's so dumb. It's so ridiculous. I don't even have words. I was so excited for Joanna Valentina, and that's gone. That's gone now. That's gone completely. At least for now. Though I didn't really expect Nate Dustin 165-pound title. I hoped against hope, but I didn't expect it. I expected them to come up with something. But I didn't think it would be this bad, where even with all the negatives in the UFC's perspective for giving Nate and Dustin a 165-pound title fight, there's a lot of negatives from the business side of the UFC. I get it. Giving leverage to fighters, I get it. But even for those negatives from a UFC point of view, this is dumb. This is worse. I can't wrap my head around how this, even from the UFC's business point of view, not wanting to give leverage to anyone, is wearing control, even from that perspective, I don't understand how this is in any way an answer. This is a million times worse. And oh God, this is so bad. We're going to have to watch this bullshit. And I'm going to be dumb enough to sit there and watch it. Oh God. Oh God.